an educative video for Flopthorix. As you can see, the noise is quite substantial because, well, full manufacturing facilities in action. Now, Vivian, can you please record all these, okay? All these are the EVA shells for Flopthorix, okay? So, these are the Flopthorix that we always have in semi-hard EVA, 34-4 shorting A. And these are the top covers that we can use for Flopthorix. Now, so Vivian, record this, okay? This is the standard shell, 3440, that you see here. But you're also able to make Flopthorix with softer shells in this color and in this color. Now Vivian, please join me. Fírmame como anda. This machine is where we mechanize the shell. This is the negative of the Flopthorix base and the salt that we're gonna do later. Here, this is a water machine that can cut your arm. This is where we build the Flopthorix base and the Flopthorix sole cut properly. Now sometimes it can happen that because we have to bevel, the surface of the Flopthorix here is not perfect, we have to take them out of the machine and bevel it a little bit. But the Flopthorix will be always 1 millimeter or 2 slightly narrower than the Flopthorix base and the Flopthorix sole. Well, this is a sample of why sometimes, well, most of the times, the Flopthorix are slightly narrower than the original shape of the sizer itself. Is because when it leaves the machine it has a rough finishing, so in order to make them look properly presented for a private sector, we have to bevel them a little bit. So you can see that they are slightly wider, but it's not an issue, okay? Now, this is a sample of a Flopthorix that I will possibly never advise to prescribe, but it's very, very good at the time of doing demos because it has a bit of everything. This has a heel cap of 12, which is the maximum we can do, and the maximum we advise as well for a Flopthorix. It has a heel raise, and the maximum heel raise allowed is 25, and we can do them all over the Flopthorix, which sometimes people ask, so it will look like a bit of a discodantic Flopthorix. You can see that the heel lift here, if you put a bit the camera a bit closer, is done in black, which is the material that we always advise to certain accommodations, okay, like heel lifts. If you want a heel lift done in the same color of the shell, you need to talk to us first, because it might happen that we cannot do them in certain colors. And as it says in the policies, we don't give back the Flopthorix for an aesthetic issue, okay, because they are orthotics at the end of the day. So now sometimes you'll see patients that are very, very interested in wearing Flopthorix. However, when they have serious issues like Charcot, neurological issues, banana-shaped feet, it's just not meant to be, and it's not going to work. So for very, very, very complicated feet, always talk to us first, and we will advise whether it is suitable or not for this patient to wear a Flopthorix, not to create false expectations, which can always lead to disappointed patients. Okay, good. When you want to place a duplicate or the Flopthorix wear after a time because it's EVA and it's normal they compress, especially when you're asking for a super soft shell, you'll see that the first part of a Flopthorix is quite narrower than the part that you have already been using, and that's because there is no shoe to compress the EVA, it just expands, and that is the nature of the tear. My Flopthorix had a very different shape the first time I wore them than now. They just look bigger because that's the feet just making an effect on the Flopthorix itself. We don't allow refurbs because they're just too time consuming, so we advise if the shell is just too damaged to do a refurb, unlike with an orthotic with polypropylene or 3D, so it's just better to place a new Flopthorix, no full refurbs. Hello, well, this is a quick follow-up just to make some points about the E-flops, which are the senior Flopthorix line E-flops. They are made with genuine leather. We have different models, unlike Flopthorix, where we have more sizers available that can go from 3 to a really, really big number. As we're purchasing the third-party leather from another supplier, we don't have as much sizes available. So it's always good to check on the brochure that we supply each customer what sizes are available in each color, and always check availability with us. Okay, we have these Flopthorix now in black color, which is great. We have a new color available because it's available on the app, not in our brochure. So just for everyone to know, we have available Flopthorix in black, and the straps are, we have 3 sizes of straps for women and for men, and depending on the size that you choose, we will put a size of strap that can go from 36-37 to 40-41 for men, and 41-42 to 45-46 for men, and before it was 36-37 to 40-41 for women. In Flopthorix, we can move, we can adapt the size of this, and this, but we cannot move the position of the straps within the sizer itself because they're predetermined by the sizer and the top covers that we're purchasing. Recently, we have some cases where we needed more Velcro, especially in this strap. So the supplier is sending us new straps with much more Velcro to avoid, which has been so far the most common return in e-flops. Hi, well, this is the most important part at the time of prescribing Flopthorix, which is the sizing. With no correct sizing, it's impossible to have a successful prescription because the patient will never feel comfortable in, this is a built-in orthotic, and as such, we have to design the software with the following templates, or alternatively, if you don't have a sizer, you have to do it sending us templates of the feet, marking very clearly the space between the first and the second MPG, so I can choose the sizer for you. But that is not ideal. The ideal is for you to have your own sizer, so you can see marking where the toes, back toe post is, and we have all these sizers here, so we can go from the bigger one to the smallest one for children. E-flops, they don't have as many sizers because, as discussed before, the leather choices for top covers are not as diverse as the ones that we have for Flopthorix. So we have our model here for feet, and we're gonna ask our model to go and put her feet here, okay? Now this is very important. If you need support for choosing a sizer, you have to send me the pictures with the pen like this, because otherwise I have no visibility where the toe post is. There's no point of sending pictures for me if I don't have this pen here marking where the toe post is. In my opinion, although this sizer looks good, there might be too much space. Here we can see that we have maybe 1 centimeter, but here we have 2 centimeters. So the ideal thing to do is to move this toe post hole backwards 1 centimeter. This way we center the feet within the same sizer, which is the right one for her. If we have the same length of feet, however, we have a much bigger width, we can ask the lab to use a sizer 9 but a sizer 12. Or you can always ask to extend proportionally 1 centimeter here, 1 centimeter here, 2 centimeters here, 2 centimeters here. The question is to play with the sizers and give the right information to the lab. Unfortunately, we don't have a system for straps or rubbers, so you need to measure with the tape or just send us picture so we can see how thick or how thin the feet are in case we need to use a different rubber or a different strap measurement according to the sizer chosen. It can happen that if this patient has really thick feet, this sizer might be the right one for her. However, if I don't put a much bigger rubber, she won't be able to put her feet within the Flopthorix. Rubbers are always the same, so we don't accept exchanges if someone is allergic. Same one goes for straps or the leathers for e-flops. This is very important because it's not possible to replace them based on allergies. Okay, so we expect the podiatrists to do the work themselves. And later on, I will finish the presentation with a demo of the app on how to prescribe using our software. Thank you. Well, hello. This will be the last part recording about Flopthotics and eFlop training. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to start using the app, which is the most important part of to prescribe and put the prescription. I always advise to use the app, not only because of the possibilities that it offers and because it's easier to track the history of each patient, both for prescriber and for lab, but also because you can see an update of the materials, and it's good exercise because the world is going digital. Paper is really part of the past, and it will be better if all of us will join using the app and making the most of everything that Etzer offers. Okay, so both a lot of people will normally put an order for a Floptotic as a first order. However, the most common is to put a Floptotic as a second order. Okay, so if we have here this patient, I'm just going to put here an order, modified, and here I'm going to choose Floptotic, which is going to change and it's going to show us everything that we need to fill in: the base, the top cover, the sole, the strap, the sizer, and we're just going to go down. We need to mark absolutely everything. We can make them regular and thin. Things that they are just much thinner than the usual. However, they are not as protected in the sole. I like them more regular because I think a Floptotic should be a bit more chunky and more resistant. And then I'm just going to confirm the order. So you're going to see that the system have allowed the Floptotic to keep everything that we could do on a Floptotic. So you can have a lot of corrections in an orthotic, but when you put the Floptotic, what will show is that only certain kind of corrections are allowed, which is great because it's a smart system and tells you exactly what you can do. Okay, so regarding DBA shells, and this is something that we have discussed before, you can do them in semi-hard DBA in all these colors, but if you want them in a softer shell, it has to be in black and beige. Remember that it's always better to make them bigger than smaller in front of the dot, because if you make them bigger, it's easy to bevel them. Well, if you make them smaller, it has to be a new order. Just bear in mind that if you put, for example, a 12 heel cap and you want to make them smaller, you lose the heel cap and it makes almost impossible to make a big heel cap if you want to make them smaller. So a lot of clinicians, they just want to play safe and they just put 0 just in case. If rear foot control is very, very important for you, go ahead with 12. Just bear in mind that you have to be very precise with the sizer and the Floptotic given. If you want to put a sizer 5.5, a 6.5, a 7.5, you just choose 5, and on comments, you will put 5.5, and any other comments that they are not in a prescription form, you just put them in client comments and we can do them. Perfect, good. So, regarding straps, you have all the straps available here, and you know that, for example, if you go to the brochure, and this will be here. If you go to the brochure, the colors will be there, but the straps right now are different. You know, we don't have that many because suppliers have issues with stock. So it's good to use the app as well, because then you'll see an amended and complete option available for the straps and wrappers available. It is not possible to keep updating all the time the information, so we have to put them on the app, because if we have to print brochures every time there is a change, it will make our life impossible. Just bear in mind that rubbers, whether straps, rubbers, or leather, it is on you to advise the patient if they are allergic to anything, because we don't give back refunds just because patients are allergic to certain straps or rubbers or leather. So it is the duty of the clinician to find out about this. All the Floptotics are always moderate or minimal, because the surface hasn't is harder than in a regular orthotic desensation. So you don't want to make a very, very aggressive contact arch because it will be uncomfortable. We tend to reduce them from 3 to 5 millimeters just per se, always. Then a lot of clinicians, they ask me sometimes how to price them, and this is very, very important as well. I'm just gonna go ahead and show that, to price the Flopthorix properly, usually you'll hit the patient with a regular price for an orthotic, and you will charge 150 to 200 for a Flopthorix to make it more attractive, because the job of doing a Flopthorix, once you have done the assessment for the main orthotic, is quite simple, and it's easier for the patient and more attractive to pay just with a duplicate discount, because we will also apply a duplicate discount for Flopthorix of 10% if it's a duplicate, which is good for you. Regarding the colors for an eFlop, okay, this is very important as well. Just gonna go here. There are certain colors for men and certain colors for women. This lady is a woman, so she will have colors available in Kalima, Bellamar, and Balize, which are the models for women, in these colors: brown, pink, beige, and black. Yes, we have black, both for men and women, okay, which is good. When you want to advise the patient what colors they can have and what sizes, always check the sizes here. And the sizes are available in the app, because we don't do the Flopthorix. Flopthorix are made with our NEBA, while eFlops are made with a third-party leather, and you want to be in control of what leather is available for each patient, not to create false expectations. This is something I explained before in another part of the video, but it's good repetition. Okay, so we have Garrafter, Maran Bogate in blue, brown, gray, black. Woman, Kalima, Bellamar, and Belize, pink, beige, brown, black, and always check the sizes available for each patient. Very, very, very important. So when you talk to them, you can advise them, what models are available and what sizes are available. So let's go back to the app. Now, at the time of choosing sizer, something that we discussed is that we had to give the right information to the practitioner in terms of sizing. But however, if you don't have a sizer available, or you happen to be unsure, you have to send us a template like the one I'm showing. Why it has to be a PDF scan? A lot of people ask, because I am quite insistent that I don't receive any other document available in Word or in a different format, like a picture. There is a reason. If you see this line here, that I always ask a PDF with a line of 20 centimeters behind, on the side. I'm just gonna go here, zoom to page level, and I'm just gonna do my magic. So this line, it's hard to say because it's stopping me to have a complete visibility, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. If I take a measurement of this line, you will see that the line is corrupted, because when you send something by PDF, instead of measuring 20 centimeters, you measure 21 centimeters. This means that I need to correct, using Adobe Reader, the PDF in order for me to print it and choose the right sizer for you. That is very, very, very important. So here, what I will do is I will print the document with a 95 scale to compensate the fact that when you send something online, it can be slightly corrupted. And I will just change it to Microsoft Print to PDF. And then I will be able to save the document corrected. And there you go. Now I can print it and it will work. So that is the reason why I always request a PDF with the line of 20 centimeters, and hopefully now it's clear that if I ask for it, it's because I really need it. So let's go back to the app. When we design the prescription, everything is here. My only advice is keep it very simple and never add more than 5 degrees, 5 millimeters of correction, because it won't work and the feed will be drifting away. So you save the order, complete, and the order is ready to go. You have all sort of documents, technical documents that I can send you as well for to add to your existing knowledge that you learned with this video. So I can send you a Floptotic technical insight where we'll explain, we resume everything that we just spoke here very well, an eFlop for technical insight as well, a manual for sizing that explains you how you need to size the manual. So overall, hopefully with this video and these manuals, you'll get a good overview of how not to miss and how to prescribe Floptotics. And I wish that if you have any feedback, or you want me, or you believe I'm missing something in this video, you let me know, and I will appreciate that all prescribers see this video and let me know feedback and any comments. Okay, that is all, and thank you so much for attending this training about this educational video for Floptotics. Have a good day.